And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to day number 3 of the Masters Coliseum 6, the playoff bracket. I'm, of course, host Live VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the lovely people in the chat, by Kuro in production, and by my plushies. As always, as tonight we have 4 best of 5s ready and waiting for us. Back to back to back. You can see them here before your eyes on this very screen as we kick things off with a TvT between Clem and ByuN. We follow it up with a PvT with Max versus Cure, a ZvZ between Serral and Dark, and then we end the night with Maru versus Hero. Oh boy. Bearing in mind that those bottom 2 rounds are, of course, elimination rounds as well. So we're going to say goodbye to either Serral or Dark, as well as either Hero or Maru, which is crazy. It's insane that we're going to be losing some of those players already in this tournament. Some upsets did occur day 1, and that caused just like a domino effect here of just all these pillars falling one after another. And it's crazy just how many big players we have already lost, and we will continue to lose throughout this tournament. But here we go. We have our first matchup. It's a TvT between Clem and ByuN. Here we go. A shout out to Cannon Fodder in the chat. Thank you so much for the Prime sub. Thank you. Hope you've had a great time. Hope you enjoy the stream. Hope you enjoy your emotes as well. Thank you. You also get replay packs. Thank you. We appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. As we're getting ready for the TvT, the vetoes are in, the bans are through, the map pick as well, the map order even, as game 1 is on Aggressvan, Ancient Cistern, Royal Blood, Dragon Scales, and Babylon as well. And I am excited. So TvT, I feel like historically, especially Korean TvT, has been a struggle for Clem. Clem has been doing so well throughout this tournament, already taking down Serral. Can he overcome the bane of his career here? As in the top left-hand corner, we have Clem for Team Liquid. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Aggressvan, we have the South Korean Terran player ByuN for Shopify Rebellion. Here we go. But yeah, historically, Korean TvT has been a struggle for Clem, whether it's players like Cure or Gumiho, Maru, ByuN. They typically are the players to just knock him down and keep him back when it comes to these big international tournaments. So we'll see if Clem can overcome that. Again, he's already on fire. He already took down Serral earlier in the tournament. ByuN now stands before him, and ByuN can be a very wild player, especially in TvT. As with a lot of Korean Terrans, very prone to proxy, not afraid to proxy 2x out on the map, Mass Reaper, and just throw a wrench in the works. Likewise, very bio heavy as well, very drop heavy, which is very unique to ByuN. Typically in TvT, the standard thing to do is, your mass Ravens, your mass tanks, it's very positional based, very slow, very methodical. Don't have to play mech, of course, but like bio tank in general, there's more of an ebb and flow and back and forth to the TvT. ByuN, though, more often than not, he enjoys cutting Vikings and going for a more medevac heavy style and going for a more drop play instead, trying to outposition his opponents in that way and out multitask them as well. And typically ByuN does have the speed to do so. But again, Clem, likewise, a young player, a very fast player as well. I am excited to see how they shape up and if they're able to even showcase similar styles, which could lead to some very chaotic outcomes. Things can get wild, things can get crazy, things can get rowdy as well. But for now, we are going to be getting into this, and for the time being, you can see the SCV scouting pattern for both players. They're both looking for proxies. ByuN checks towards the north. You can see Clem check his triangular third and now his linear third location, looking for any kind of stray proxy raxes that ByuN may throw at him. Likewise, ByuN is doing very similar scouting as well on his side. So both players are respecting each other. They are aware that shenanigans could be afoot, and they're just making sure they're safe and sound. From here, of course, we're getting into our openers. We did see Rax expands from our players. I say Rax expands. We did see, mirrored builds to get into our CCs on the low ground. These were actually double gas openers, so faster factories into a CC, into an expansion. What I should emphasize is that so far, oh my god, let's go. So far, we don't see any one-base play. ByuN is going to be going for a 2-1-1 setup. And this is what I was talking about when it comes to ByuN. He's a very active player, very versatile player. Clem going for a standard opener, going for a 1-1-1 follow-up after, of course, he's working on his CC. We have a Cyclone on the way. We have Marines. We are soon to have a Raven as well with an add-on swap afterwards. I'm pretty sure we're heading towards a Cyclone drop for Clem, which again has been very, very like standard nowadays. ByuN with that extra racks, I do believe he's going to be getting into, again, very bio-heavy style, going for a faster stim, going for a faster drop. Before that does occur, we do see ByuN pushing on forward here. Good splash damage already from his Hellions, and he's going to be snowballing out of control. I'm getting too ahead of myself. If this could be a devastating amount of damage. It looks like so far only one SCV goes down. The Cyclone pops out just in time, and Clem will hold on to his natural. Oh my god, but we do see reinforcements arrive. The Hellion does go down, and Clem is being forced back. Again, thankfully, because of the safety Cyclone, he's safe, he survives, he makes it through. But Clem does lose a lot of his units, and because of that, he loses map control. He's not going to be as active as he otherwise would have liked to have been. He does back off. Behind this, Raven tank, as to be expected from Clem. Again, everything from Clem is normal, is as TvT should be. From the side of ByuN, with that fast second racks, it's a 2-on-1 setup, fast stim, which means we're going to get not just a starport, but also fast medevacs as well. And ByuN is soon to be active on the map with drop play. This is very unusual in TvT. This isn't done too often. The reason for this is, if you compare the two players, ByuN is missing crucial aspects of a classic TvT army composition, and that is the tank and the Raven. Tanks and Ravens are right there, the bread and butter of TvT, the bread and butter of your army. So for ByuN to avoid that, to delay that as well, there is a lot of pressure on ByuN to do damage with this eventual stim timing. He needs to do economic damage, pick apart at the tanks, catch Ravens, catch Cyclones. He needs to do damage to just catch up and to equalize, and already a good start. He does catch the Raven, doesn't kill it, but a lot of damage is already done, and he is forcing the Raven to waste his energy. Meanwhile, there are other units out on the map just looking to catch a read on where that Raven is. Cyclone is on the hunt. Cyclone is looking to bring it down. Meanwhile, ByuN also takes his third base on location as well. There is the add-on swap. There is a reactor on that medevac. Stim on the way. Medevacs are on the way as well. Can we get another lock on? Oh, we cannot. Clem does escape with that Raven. He does get away. Very important. Again, tanks and Ravens, they are the lifeblood here for Clem, keeping him alive, keeping him safe. Raven is going to be able to be repaired back at home, as he's getting into his own third CC in his main base, not quite on location, so it's going to take a little bit longer for him to actually get it up and running. In a sense, that's why ByuN is so important, so imperative that he's getting his own on location to make up for how late his timing is. As we just see a scan from Clem into the main base, trying to get a read on what's going on. It looks like he does see the production, so he is now aware that medevacs are coming. He should more or less be aware, looking at the 2-on-1, or at the production, I should say. So now he is aware. Now he does know tank production has commenced for ByuN. I believe that's his first tank on the way. And here we go. A massive amount of Marines are being active on the map. Stim has completed. Bear that in mind. And ByuN is going to be sharking around for some damage. Meanwhile, Clem already on 3 tanks at this point, working on his 4th tank, working on his Vikings as well. Very solid defensive line here from Clem. Meanwhile, oh my god, triple Raven. He's crazy. All 3 of his Ravens are on the map. To be fair, because he scanned the main base, he knows about the 2-on-1. He knows that he doesn't need his Ravens back at home because there are no tanks. There are no tanks to harass him. There are no tanks to punish him. So he comes in, he knows he can spend all of his energy on auto turrets, and he does catch the tank as well as a bunch of SCVs. Repairs are not good enough. Tank goes down. SCVs are falling left and right. Clem taking advantage of ByuN's build, taking down 9 workers. He still has, I think, a little bit of energy left as he does head into the main, does get confirmation of the production. And now, again, the pressure is still on ByuN to make something happen as more SCVs are going down. Oof. The economic damage is already insane. ByuN still trying to get his third base up and running. Clem, he scans, he checks the third base location. 14 SCVs have gone down. And what can ByuN do? Like, Clem, he's waiting for the drop. He knows it's coming. He saw the opener. He's waiting for those medevacs. He's prepared back at home. And ByuN, he knows that, so he can't pull the trigger until now. Here we go. He's pre-spreading his army, getting ready to reduce damage here from any kind of tank volleys. The Vikings also sharking around, looking to deny a doom drop into the main. Clem is looking solid. As he moves out, he is exposing himself. And ByuN can look to collapse on this army. But the tanks are quick to siege. ByuN, he can't touch this. What can he do? He's trying to slow down the third base. Sensor Tower's on the way. I love that Clem is doing such a great job at babysitting his army, and ByuN has to back off. Like, he doesn't want to throw anything away. ByuN is behind at the moment, but he doesn't want to die, you know? He doesn't want to throw away his army needlessly. He's waiting for the opportune moment, waiting to catch the army. You can see ByuN in the center of the map on top of the ramp even. And with the completion of that sensor tower, now it's going to be even more difficult to get a drop across the map. As I say that, I think ByuN is going for a double drop towards the north. There is an area of the map that is not covered by that sensor tower. Oh, I said a double drop. It's a doom drop. 2 tanks and 3 full medevacs here of Marines. He's diving into the main base. The turrets are not done. The Vikings are in position. They take down 1 full medevac, big disable on one of the tanks as well. Medevacs are going down left and right. Can ByuN make something happen here? It looks like he cannot. He's going to get cleaned up. The tanks go down. Only 1 medevac survives, just barely. That was 3 full medevacs gone. You can see ByuN shaking his head on cams. And this is the reason why ByuN's build this game is very uncommon in the TvT matchup, because it's very high risk, high reward. Which means that, like, more often than not, it can fall on its face. This entire game, ByuN, like, there's so much pressure on him to make something happen. He just hasn't been able to. Now, to be fair, ByuN has caught up in economy. He's still behind because Clem has been mining more for longer, and he has been able to make use of his own worker count. But here we go. Clem is going to be pushing on out. He does run into the army of ByuN, but Clem is quick to siege. He is safe, but he doesn't make it past the halfway mark. ByuN doing a great job at slowing Clem down. Behind this, ByuN is taking a 4th base on location. He's still sharking around with his army. The goal here for ByuN is to catch Clem unsieged. To catch his army. ByuN, he's about to hit with 2-2. So, like, again, he has better Marines. He has stronger Marines overall. He will have that upgrade advantage in a couple of seconds. That's a risky doom drop. Look at that medevac. It's so low. ByuN just shuffle it over to the right-hand side. Doom drop head towards the main base. Bearing in mind that turrets are now done in the main. As ByuN scans and he sees that the army's in position. Yeah, there's units waiting in the main base. Clem, he knows that right now ByuN is desperate to get a drop off. He's desperate to get damage done. So Clem is taking it slow and steady. Very slow, methodical play out of Clem. Honestly, doing great right now. He's still behind in those bio upgrades, of course. Going to be rotating around as he moves out. Here we go. He does run into the army. ByuN doesn't quite pull the trigger. ByuN is denying the 4th base as we speak, by the way, as Clem is attempting to expand. 6 SCVs go down. A good amount of damage done. Meanwhile, the armies are engaging in the center of the map. Oh, big tank volleys going off. Oh my god, massive tank shots on the bio army of ByuN. And here we go. He dives on this. He's going to get 1 tank. Not worth it, though, for ByuN at all. ByuN fighting within tank range. Loses his own tank. And Clem is slowly pushing forward. ByuN trying to hold on here. He's got 2 of his own tanks on the front lines. I think maybe the Ravens may have been dealt with earlier. And hey, ByuN does have the defender's advantage. He does have high ground here. He dives over the tanks. He gets 1, 2, 3 tanks go down. Good target firing out of ByuN. Making the best out of a bad situation. Making use of his mass marine army. Does help reset that tank count. Does try to keep it even. But Clem is reinforcing. That was a big loss for Clem, though. Like, he lost a lot trying to push up that ramp. Again, that's why in TvT, you can be, like, down in tanks. You can have, like, what, 3 tanks to 8? But as long as you can hold on to a ramp, like, you can, you know, you can hold the line. You can survive. You can slowly max out. As ByuN is working on 3-3. Upgrades are now evening up. Clem still doesn't have +2 attack, though. He does have to back off. Does have to respect the army of ByuN. And ByuN, he's stabilizing. ByuN now has a higher worker count. He has his 4th base up and running. His economy has been untouched. I say equalizing. ByuN still doesn't have the tank count of Clem. So in a head-to-head fight, Clem will win. Clem does have a massive, terrifying army. But that's why, essentially, ByuN is going for these, like, guerrilla tactics. He's, like, trying to catch the army. He's being very active on the map. And he's out of position. The tanks are gone at this point. They are not here. They're not on top of the ramp. And Clem is forcing his way in. Ugh, third base has to be lifted. At the same time, ByuN going for a massive drop across the map at the third base of Clem. And Clem, I don't think he has any tanks in position. Observer, show us what's happening. Things are going down. Clem is forced to lift up his base. We have the picture-in-picture. So both players are hurting. Both players are forced to lift up their thirds. ByuN pushing on forward, takes down a tank. And Clem loses 18 SCVs. Oh god! Oh my god. It may be worth it because Clem, he catches the Doom Drop. All 4 medevacs go down. Clem is hurting the economy. ByuN is hurting when it comes to the army. But if ByuN can just survive a little bit longer, he can rebuild. He has the higher worker count. Like one swift move. ByuN coming in and killing 18 workers that may have just won him the game. Now there's pressure on Clem to keep on pushing. ByuN, he has the upgrade advantage. He has +3. +3 defense even. Does force Clem back. And now you can see ByuN is getting ready for a surround. He's getting ready to just collapse on all these tanks. These tanks, there are a lot of them, but they're looking very exposed. There's not a lot to protect them. Yeah, Clem is getting the hell out of here. He knows. He's like, no. I don't want to lose this army. Meanwhile, ByuN, he just goes for a counterattack. He doesn't collapse on the forces. He just goes for a big counterattack. Catches a tank. Catches even more SCVs. Another mineral line. 15 more workers go down. This entire time, ByuN has been avoiding the fight. Here we go. He does dive on top of the tanks. And despite there being 8 tanks in the low ground, he takes down every single one. Who needs tanks in TvT when you have man with gun? ByuN, with this heavy marine style, is finally pulling Clem apart. Up until like 2 minutes ago, Clem was looking dominant. Like, Clem was shutting ByuN down at every turn. But all it takes is one drop to get a little bit out of hand, and then the snowball starts rolling. You know, then the dominoes start falling. And ByuN, he got so much momentum. Despite how well Clem was playing. That's TvT. That's well, that's a mirror matchup, I should say. Where you have very similar tools, and if you start falling behind, it can be very difficult to come back. As Clem, he's down to 3 bases, he's down 20 workers, he's down heavily in the army supply. The one advantage that Clem had is now gone. He had so many tanks. He had so many tanks compared to his opponents, and that tank count has been reset, and now ByuN is pushing out across the map. Liberator does complicate things, but it does get focused down, and now ByuN is cutting Clem off from his own 4th base. Another Liberator does fall. 3-3, of course, done for ByuN now. For his bio army. Planetary's under threat. Liberator is going to be able to chip away at these tanks, and that will force ByuN to unsiege. The Liberators are bullying ByuN back. ByuN, he's going to be consolidating his forces in the middle of the map. We do have a double drop across the map from Clem. He's going to try to do some counter damage. Repairs buying some time, and the repairs are even enough to bring down the drop. And now it's time for Clem to be desperate here. He's trying to force back his opponents. But it's a numbers game. ByuN is pulling Clem apart. Got that Planetary taking a lot of hits. Planetary goes down to the tank fire. And now ByuN can focus on his assault at the 3rd base. He's pushing through the center. 3rd is looking very exposed once again. And it will be targeted down. From there, ByuN just picking up, dropping into the main base. Carpet bombing on top of that production. And even though ByuN is going to get cleaned up, he just killed 2 bases. He just killed the 3rd and the 4th. And what just landed was a fresh orbital base. It's again, Clem barely holding on here on 1 base economy. This isn't a fresh base, by the way. I'm pretty sure this is the natural. The natural just floated over to take as his 3rd. That's how dire the situation is for Clem. He's pushing on through. Liberators have been helping, but the last Liberator goes down. Clem has the Viking lead. I'm pretty sure he has the tank lead again. Clem has a lot of tanks. Not so much when it comes to Marines, not so much when it comes to just overall supply. Clem is making 3 Liberators at a time. Again, because Clem has the Viking lead, like, these Liberators could work wonders, but here we go. The CC's going to go down. That was the main, by the way. The main just fell. There's 1 base left. GG gets called, and ByuN takes game number 1. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. And this is where we got to see very stylistic play out of ByuN. Coming into this game, we were talking about how ByuN, he has a very unique style of TvT, and very often, this is how he plays. Very often, he goes for very bio-heavy, very drop-heavy play, which is in stark contrast to standard TvT, which is Viking tank. Viking tank Raven. That is like, you know, the positional play that Clem was going for. That's like the quote-unquote correct way to play TvT. That is what is standard. But ByuN, he plays like by the seat of his pants. Like, he's it's very risky how he plays. As we saw, like, ByuN was having a really hard time. He was having a really hard time finding damage. He was taking some economic losses. For the first 15 minutes of the game, he could not engage. He could not engage the main army of Clem. Clem was bullying him back, threatening the third base, and ByuN had to rely on counterattacks. He had to rely on drop play, on just all this, on this like bio-heavy just run-bys, and it worked, right? He eventually was able to get into the third, was able to catch some reinforcements, was able to collapse on the tanks. A very flexible style here from ByuN. Very high damage output, of course, a very fragile army as well. And initially, it looked like Clem had it in the bag. It looked like Clem was looking strong, looking powerful. But eventually, ByuN, he found a way. It's crazy. Very impressive. Very impressive stuff. So it's also one of those things. I think I've spoken about this with Asher, where the way that ByuN plays TvT, it looks so cool. It looks so flashy and so fun because you're so active, you're so mobile. You know, you got Marines everywhere stimming. But if you ever try it yourself, like, it's so difficult to pull off, and it can just fall on its face. So it almost fell on its face for ByuN. Let's be real, in that game, it was almost like in the bag for Clem. So it's a really difficult thing to do. But Clem, ByuN, he likes it. He loves it. He is all about it. And now we're getting ready for game number 2. Game número 2. And here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient System, we have the French Terran player. For Team Liquid, it is Clem. And in the bottom left-hand corner, it is the South Korean Terran player. Representing Shopify Rebellion, it is ByuN. Here we go. So we'll see if ByuN goes for something similar again. I don't imagine so. I don't... we'll see. We'll see. As it is something that, of course, ByuN does enjoy, but that doesn't mean that he can't play like a more regular tank Viking style. He can, definitely. But he can also mix things up entirely. So our eyes are going to be on ByuN here to see how he changes things. Meanwhile, Clem, I expect more of the same. Of course, he has the ability to proxy and to be hyper aggressive in that nature. But when it comes to more standard play, or when it comes to a longer game, I expect to be seeing tank Viking into Liberator. That's just, yeah, Clem's MO, his comfort zone. And I'm sure in that last game, Clem, I can feel the frustrations. Like, again, he was playing so well initially. He was denying the drops. He was forcing back the army. Clem was doing well for the first half of that game. So I'm sure he probably feels like, you know, I just have to keep playing my way, playing my style. I'm doing my thing, and just have to tighten up towards the end. And I can pull it off. And here we go. ByuN just, or both players going for double gas openers. Going for their expansions. CC is going to be delayed here for ByuN by those Reapers. So far so good by Clem. Able to come in, force a delay. Has that SCV to tank some shots as well. Can he delay it again? He could actually. Oh, it's going to be close. The dance has become, the Hellion does arrive, and ByuN is going to be able to force the Reaper back. So a small win here for Clem. And ByuN's doing it again. ByuN is doing it again. On the production tab, you can see that ByuN has a second Rex on the way. So for a second time, we have a 2-1-1 from our red Terran player. This is going to be leading into faster stim, leading into medevacs as well, and drop plays. So ByuN is going for the exact same opener he went for in game number 1. We'll see how Clem deviates, if at all. As for now, he instead is going for a standard 1-1-1 opener. Of course, 1 Rax, 1 Factory into 1 Starport, should be into Safety Cyclone, into Initial Raven. This is so far looking like almost a mirror copy of game 1. Oh, but I spoke too soon. Okay, so the initial build order looks very similar, but instead of going for a Raven, we do see Clem going for a Banshee first into Cloak. So very cheeky move, but here we go. ByuN is going to be pushing on forward with a massive amount of Hellions and Reapers. He's going to be looking to overpower the army here of Clem. A lot of Hellion shots are going to be going off. The army is falling. Boys are being pulled. A lot of SCVs are going down. GG gets called, and before Clem can get into his game, before he can get into his Banshees, ByuN rocks up. GG gets called, and ByuN takes game 2. I feel so teased. ByuN, he was working on his tech lab. He was going to start stim momentarily for his 2-1-1. Clem obviously was working on his Banshees. If you remember last game, ByuN went for the same, a very similar attack. Clem was able to barely hold on with his Cyclone when his Cyclone popped out. This time, not to be the case. This time the Cyclone was delayed, and ByuN just goes in and ends the game. That was what was it? 3 Hellions and 5 Reapers. 3 Hellions and 5 Reapers comes in. What's important though about what just happened is the splash damage that ByuN was doing with those Hellions. Really good splash damage. Was able to just get a little bit too much damage overall, and just like that, GG. GG, ByuN does take a 2-0 lead. Oof. Oh. Wait, what? Apparently my camera isn't working. Could you make sure that you're actually clicking on the scene? Clicking on the Discord source? Yeah, there we go. And as we get into this, massive shout out to Baby Link. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session as well. Do appreciate the raid so much. Gracias, gracias. For those that are tuning in, we are here in the Masters Coliseum. We're day number 3, the playoff bracket, and in the top right-hand corner, we have Clem for Team Liquid. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player for Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Those wondering, for those that are just tuning in, this is a best of 5 TvT matchup. ByuN is up 2-0, and so far, game 2 was a little bit lackluster. Game 2 ended very quickly. Wasn't anything too crazy. Wasn't anything too wild. But spawning in the but in game number 1, ByuN was honestly looking, or it was actually pretty close. It was pretty close between the two players. We have seen ByuN go for that 2-1-1 setup multiple times now, very drop heavy style, very bio heavy. But Clem has had enough. He's going to be opening up with a 2-Rax here in game 3. Let's go. So for those wondering, this 2-Rax opener from Clem is designed to hard counter a proxy. So he is reading, because ByuN is up 2-0 and ByuN is 1 game away from taking the series, he's assuming or hoping that ByuN is going to proxy him and cheese him, and Clem is looking to hard counter that. Meanwhile, we can see ByuN, he's just going for actually an economic opener. Okay. So ByuN is going for a Rax Expand. For the first time this entire series, this could work in Clem's favor. So even though Clem's opener right now is very defensive, he's going to have an abundance of Reapers to work with. He can be active on the map. And ByuN is going for a single gas, going for a very fast CC on the low ground. Very economic opener from ByuN. Can be punished, can be... yeah, we can see Clem take advantage of him here with these Reapers. There is potential. There is potential. Esther Emperor Fuble. Aye, aye, aye. But yeah, I do apologize for the camera not working earlier. Do apologize. As we are getting into our next game. Of course, Clem going for a much more delayed CC. You can see Clem's as well when it comes to his movement on the minimap. He is looking for any kind of proxy, looking for any buildings on the map before moving out. ByuN taking more defensive position back at home. Has his one Reaper, as opposed to the two of Clem. And Clem, he is going to get a delay on the CC. Again, the opener itself was very fortunate for Clem, and this was a very risky, very greedy move from ByuN to go for a Rax Expand. As a result, it's going to take quite a while for him to actually gain control of his own natural. And this is allowing Clem to catch up in the economy and to get his own CC up and running. Oof. Big Hellion volleys though, a lot of splash damage being dealt. Taking down another one of those Reapers. So really good control here from ByuN as he does take down oh my god! Clem shaking his head on cams. He was not happy about that, and that was not meant to happen. Clem just lost 4 Reapers for 1 Reaper of ByuN. That is insane. That is actually, that should not have happened. ByuN somehow with so much worse of an army is able to push back Clem, reset his Reaper count, and get his CC up and running. And now ByuN, he is more than recovered. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Clem actually quite frustrated on cams there. Is going to try to reinforce here. We do see a drop moving out, or it's going to be threatening a drop to move out across the map. Clem has to respect it. He has to back off. He has to defend back at home. And ByuN is able to get his natural base up and running. He's working towards his Cyclone. This drop play as well doesn't have to do too much damage. Clem is already still behind economically, and we'll see what ByuN can get done. Since I now understand the term Micro Jackson. He's crazy, but he's moonwalking all over Clem. Oh, not like on the American server as well. As you see Clem, I love this, making use of his second Rax. He himself is going to be going for some bio-heavy styles. Going to be going for a faster stim. Here we go. ByuN is pushing on forward, forcing the boys to be pulled. 2 SCVs go down. ByuN not losing anything so far, but is going to be forced to evacuate. Forced to unload. And Clem will force ByuN back. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting here. We're going to have a shift of dynamics as Clem is going for a faster stim. He's going for a faster third CC. This is to help make up for how late his own natural was. So Clem has to make up for that with a faster third. ByuN, though, his own third is not too far behind. He rocks up with a second Cyclone. Stim is still not done. And he can pick away at these Marines. Oof. Big tank volley, though. Going to be forcing ByuN back. And yeah, we do have that role reversal where now ByuN, he's playing a more slower tank Viking heavy style, which is what Clem has been doing this entire series. Meanwhile, Clem is going for drop heavy style, which is what ByuN has been doing. So I do appreciate it. Speaking of drops, the first 2 medevacs have arrived. Stim is done for Clem, and he's going to move out across the map with that double drop. ByuN is taking a more defensive position. He's got a tank on the low ground. He's got a tank in his main. He scans in between the bases, and ByuN, he's looking for the army. He does confirm the production. He should recognize that a drop is on the way. Now, we'll see if the Vikings come out in time. We'll see if ByuN is going to be in a good enough position to deflect this drop. As there's a lot of potential here in this double drop for Clem. There is a Cyclone, though, patrolling. Does get a lock on that first medevac. Vikings arrive, medevac goes down, big tank volley goes off on the tank of Clem, and ByuN should be able to clean this up. He takes down the tank and the medevac, everything goes down. Clem gonna try and get as much value as he can, but yeah, he gets cleaned up. That was less than ideal for Clem. was a big loss for him, losing a tank and 2 medevacs. Now he's going to try and take his third. Behind this, ByuN just building up his production. Also should be landing his own third base momentarily as well. Especially after dealing with that drop. And ByuN is in a pretty good position right now. The only thing that Clem has over ByuN is Stim, but Stim is about to finish up for ByuN anyway, so he's catching up in that respect. The third base is now being taken by Clem, but ByuN also only a couple of seconds behind. And the game is going to settle for a moment. Only for a moment, though, as Clem is moving out. Again, there is a lot of pressure on Clem to do something across the map, so he's moving out with his tanks. Going to try and delay the third base of ByuN. Meanwhile, ByuN, he doesn't see this coming. His tank is looking very exposed, and the tank is going to go down. So far, a well worth it play here for Clem. Denying the third base. Keeping ByuN in a 2-base economy. ByuN doesn't lose too much, only 1 tank for now, and a couple of SCVs. Ooh, I spoke too soon. 2 Vikings. ByuN overextending. And this is paying off so well here for Clem. He's fully saturated at his third. He's now getting further and further ahead in terms of army supply. ByuN is hurting. And Clem is rotating over to the right-hand side, looking for another angle of attack. Working his way in, and ByuN, is he ready for this? Okay, he is sieged up. He's in position. A bold move by ByuN. He dives onto one of the tanks. Ooh, takes some big tank volleys. Takes some big shots to the face. Meanwhile, Clem behind this, he has a 4th CC on the way, so he's getting further and further ahead. He's up 20 supply. About to be up another base. ByuN, though, is recovering now that he has his third up and running. He's taking this moment here to build himself back up. 2-2 on the way for both players. I appreciate that Clem doesn't want to throw away his lead. You know, he's backing off. He's just consolidating everything, bringing it all together. Soon to move out once again. It's still quite close here. I'm pretty sure Clem does have the tank lead. But this entire time he keeps rocking up and he keeps catching ByuN out of position. If ByuN is able to start keeping, or if he's able to keep up for the next move, then of course, well, he can siege in time. Speaking of, ByuN almost gets caught out again. Big disables on the tanks of Clem, and ByuN, he's going to be able to force this back. Oh my god. The disables were insane. The tanks are exposed. ByuN, he takes down 2 of them. Only 2 of Clem's will escape. ByuN shook his head for a moment there. I think he wanted all of them. But regardless, a great move from ByuN. He resets the tank count. Able to even up the tank count even. And now ByuN has the map control. Now ByuN is moving out. Oh god. Those medevacs are so exposed. Does get eyes on the 4th base. He's aware of how ahead Clem is with his 4th CC. Drop does come in across the map. Not a lot in position. 3 SCVs go down. ByuN is able to force a drop back. And again, now ByuN is aware about how behind he is economically. And he's going to be looking to try and bring that back. He's getting his own 4th on location. Clem moving out once again with another drop. But this time, ByuN is able to keep up. He is in position. Oh, takes down the medevac, and yeah, he shuts down the double drop of Clem. That's only Marine, so not the biggest of loss here for Clem, even if he did lose all of his Marines here. Just being forced back. Liberator harasses coming in, but we have a Viking in position. Clem doesn't lose anything. Oh my god. And ByuN was getting ready for a Doom drop into the main, but Clem does scan ahead of time. Does spot it. He's able to keep up. And the game is settling down. Again, Clem is still up almost 20 workers. He's still up 13 workers. Compared to ByuN. Does spot the drop. And the game is settling down. The game is, or the map is slowly being cut in half. Tanks do siege here in the center of the map. There's not a lot here for ByuN. His tanks are looking so exposed. And Clem is diving on them at the same time. ByuN comes in from behind, also getting on top of the tanks from Clem. Both players will be losing their tanks, but it looks like ByuN does come out ahead. He does survive with 4 extra tanks at the same time. Liberator hits the 4th. And ByuN can keep on pushing towards the 3rd. Ay. That fight was initially looking so good for Clem. But ByuN, from behind, was able to clean up the rest of the tanks. And now Clem is on the back foot. He just lost a lot of workers at his 4th. His 3rd is about to be lifted. No mining whatsoever at the 4th, actually. 1 Liberator is all it takes. And ByuN, he drops into the main. Gets on top of the production. GG gets called. And ByuN will take the series 3-0. GG. Oh my god. That was a little bit stressful for ByuN, not gonna lie. You can see him breathe a sigh of relief towards the end there. That was a very intense couple of moments at the end of that game. Things were looking good for Clem. They were looking good, but in TvT, sometimes one wrong move, or in a mirror matchup, sometimes one wrong move is all it takes. Things very quickly escalated out of control, all starting from that fight in the center of the map when ByuN came in from behind, got all the tanks, and then just kept pushing. Pushed towards the 3rd, dropped into the main. GG gets called. Just like that, Clem gets knocked down to the lower brackets. ByuN advances on to the upper bracket finals to face off against the winner of Max Packs versus Cure, which we'll get into after the break. See you soon.